Hi, I'm Miss Caramagno, and this is a lesson on how to take advanced Cornell notes. This lesson is designed for people who are struggling in taking Cornell notes right now, and it is to be used to follow a few simple steps to get the most out of your notes. In my class, we have a rubric that we use to grade all Cornell notes. That rubric looks like this. In the previous lesson on YouTube, we covered those things that you would need for a B grade. That's the proficient level. Today, I'm going to be covering the things that you would need for an advanced grade. That's the A level. These are techniques that you can use to make your Cornell notes a powerful tool. There are a couple of steps to doing this. First, you need to revise your Cornell notes. Second, you need to reorganize your Cornell notes. And finally, last, you need to review your Cornell notes. If you take all of these steps, you'll find that the information in your notes goes into your brain more completely, and that you are better at retrieving that information when you need it, and so you're often better at taking tests or completing tasks that covers that information. I'm going to start with a regular set of Cornell notes. This set of Cornell notes covers the B level of Cornell notes, the proficient level. It has everything you need for a basic set of Cornell notes. And I'm going to add to these notes the things that you need for advanced Cornell notes. The first thing you need to do in order to make your Cornell notes more advanced is to highlight those things which are going to be important and to put notations in the left-hand column about what's in the right-hand column so that you can find them more easily later. First, I'm going to write that a little bit about the information in this column. Namely, that all of these things are problems that happened after World War I. Later, when I'm reviewing my notes, it will be easy to find this information. I'll just scan the left-hand side, and I'll know what details I can find on the right-hand side. That's why you do this. Secondly, I want to make a notation about Germany trying democracy. These notes are about the Weimar Republic, which is the first attempt at democracy in Germany. Another thing I need to do is to underline vocabulary so that I can find it more easily later. I've labeled the vocabulary with a V, but underlining it also helps. I might put a box around the definition so that I can find it more easily. Next, I want to add some questions. I can add above the surface questions like who, what, when, and where questions, and I can add below the surface questions like why and how questions. These questions need to be answered by looking at the right side. You actually want to look at the right side to make up the question that goes on the left. That's why you have to have the notes first before you can write the question. This causes the information to be in your brain in a new way, and that helps you remember it. So, if I was going to make up a below the surface question, a how, why question for this information here, I might write something like this. How does printing money cause problems? You'll notice that I have the answer here already, that printing money caused massive inflation and that Germans lose their savings and money becomes worthless. The next thing I want to do is to organize my notes in a new way. This is another way that I can make the information in the notes go into my brain. In this class, we tend to organize our notes in 3 categories: social, political, and economic. I'm choosing a highlighter color for each one, and I'm going to go back through my notes and highlight the information for each category with the color for that category. The first one I'm going to do is social. And I'm using a bright yellow color. I hope that you can see it okay. There aren't too many social things in this set of notes. One social thing is this example here. The children would tie the blocks of money together to make toys, toy blocks. That's how worthless the money was. It was just pieces of paper. The next one I'm going to do is political information. I'm going to highlight the political information in orange. You could also choose colors to underline information if you don't want to highlight it, or you could rewrite your notes and organize them after you've taken them the first time. So some political information here might be information about the new governments. I'm going to highlight that the Weimar Republic is the name of Germany's new government. The last category that I'm highlighting is economic. And because the Weimar Republic suffered from so many economic problems, there's a lot to underline in these notes. I'm going to do that in pink. I just found another social item that I could underline, and that's the human losses after World War I. This is one of the reasons that you want to keep these highlighters on hand. You might not catch everything the first time. One of the last things that you can do to make your notes advanced is to include additional information in your summary. You might create a metaphor or an analogy, or you might make a compare and contrast diagram, like a Venn diagram. That's what I'm going to do here. Normally I'd want more space, but because these are my notes, I'm going to squeeze it in the corner. Now I found that writing Venn diagrams with 2 circles makes it really hard to write in them, so I'm going to do a Venn diagram that's 2 rectangles. The 2 things I'm going to be comparing are Germany and Europe. So something they both suffered was human losses. After World War I. but something that only Germany had to do was pay reparations. And something that only Europe had to deal with was, now I have to think because it's not on these notes, I guess getting that money. This is just an example of how you might go about this. If these were really the notes I was turning in, I would flip the paper over and give myself lots of room and try to come up with as many examples as I can. This is just the basics for making your Cornell notes the most advanced that they can be. Now remember, after you've gone through all this work before your test, you want to give yourself time to really look it over and remember what you've written. And as always, you can study yourself by folding over the paper and just looking at the left side. That's the end of this lesson on Advanced Cornell Notes.